Welcome to Formula 1 Maths. This is lesson 1.1 for the OCR Level 3 Additional Maths course. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to simplify algebraic fractions. Now, to be able to simplify algebraic fractions, there are a few rules that you need to be aware of. So the rules for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing in arithmetic is the same for algebraic fractions. You need to learn how to factorize linear expressions, learn how to factorize quadratic expressions, learn how to find the highest common factor of algebraic expressions, learn how to find the lowest common multiple of algebraic expressions, and also be able to recognize the difference of two squares. We've got a few questions to demonstrate how to use this knowledge to simplify algebraic fractions. So let's go and see how. Question 1. Simplify the following. A. 5x plus 5 over 6x plus 6. B. A squared minus 4a minus 21 over a squared plus 2a minus 3. So for A, you need to factorize both numerator and denominator to get this. And as you can see, you have got a common factor in both the numerator and the denominator, which can be cancelled out. So we can cancel here 1 and cancel there 1. So we are left with 5 over 6, and that is our answer. For B, we need to factorize again the numerator and the denominator. And this is quadratic factorization. So you need to be very familiar with quadratic factorization. For the numerator, we need two numbers which you multiply to give minus 21 and add to give minus 4. And those two numbers are 3 and minus 7. And that's why we have got this here. We do the same thing for the denominator, and we get that. And as we can see, we've got common factors in both numerator and denominator, and we can cross them out. And then we are left with a minus 7 over a minus 1. Question 2. Simplify the following. So the first one, so if I write out a, I'll have this 10ab. I can see that 7 goes here 1, and 7 goes there 2. 5 goes here 1, and 5 goes there 2. And 2 goes here 1, and 2 goes there 1. So I'm left with a squared b over c times c cubed over a b. Then we can cancel out the b's. The b will cancel out b. So again, you are left with a squared over c times c cubed over a. But the a squared over a can be brought together, and then the c cubed over c can be brought together. So we're going to get something like this. Then we can use the laws of indices, specifically rule number 2, to simplify this and that to get this, and then our final answer will be ac squared. So that's A. For B, because we have a division sign here, change that to multiplication, and because we've done that, we have to flip this one around to get this. And then we can see that this is difference of two squares, and this is also difference of two squares. So for example, n squared minus 16, if you factorize it, will give us n plus 4 and minus 4. So we have this. We did the same thing with the difference of two squares here. 1 is a square number, so we get that. Then we can see that we can cross out a few things n plus 4 will cross out with this, n plus 1 will cross out with n plus 1. So we are left with n plus 4 over n plus 1 times n minus 1 over 2. This simplifies to this, and then that is our final answer. So question 3. Here we've got addition of fractions. So for one, we are going to draw a line like this, then find the LCM of 4 and 2, which is 4. So we put it here like that. How many times will 4 go into 4? And that's 1. 1 times 3x is 3x. So we do that. And then 2, how many times will 2 go into 4? The answer is 2. 2 times x is 2x. So we just have to simplify the top numerator, and we get 5x over 4. For b, so we've got a plus 1 here for the denominator and a minus 1 for the denominator. So we are going to say we have a plus 1, a minus 1 as our LCM. So we can do that. And then note that a plus 1 goes into this a minus 1 times. So that means I'll multiply a minus 1 times 3, and I'm going to get this. Similarly, a minus 1 goes into the denominator a plus 1 times. Multiply by 5 to get that. Then we expand. If you expand, you're going to get this. That's 3a minus 3 plus 5a plus 5. So we simplify the numerator to get 8a plus 2 over a plus 1, a minus 1. You don't need to expand this to get a squared minus 1. So you can now factorize the numerator to get that, and that will be our final answer. So for C, what you need to realize here is that n squared minus 4 is n plus 2, n minus 2. So we can rewrite the whole thing as this. Then we draw our line, and here the lowest common multiple of this one and that is this. How many times will this go into that? Obviously it's 1. So 1 times 4n is 4n. But n plus 2 goes into the common denominator n minus 1 times. So we multiply n minus 1 by 2 to get that. Do the expansion to get 4n minus 2n plus 4 in the numerator. Simplify to get 2n plus 4. We can now factorize the numerator to get this. And as we can see, we can cross out this one to get 1 and this one to get 1. And our final answer is therefore 2 over n minus 2. Question 4. Again, we need to simplify the following. Now we need to realize that for a, this denominator here needs to be rewritten to look like that. So b minus a can be written as minus brackets a minus b. So now we can write the whole thing as this. But this plus here and then minus will give us a minus. So the whole of that can be written as this. Now we have to find a common denominator of the two fractions, which is a minus b. Obviously, a minus b goes into a minus b once. 1 times it. 3a is 3a. Similarly, this goes into this once. 1 times that is minus 3b. Factorize the numerator together. And then this and that will cross out to get 3 as our final answer. B. We look at the denominators again to find a common denominator, which will be 30x. So that's 30x.
5x goes into 30x
6 times. So I multiply 6 by the numerator here to get this. Then
6x goes into 30x 5 times.
5 times the numerator here will be this. And then 6 times 2 is 12. 5 times 3 is 15. So I get this. And if I expand, I'll get 24x plus 12 plus 30x minus 15. Simplify the numerator here. We're going to get 54x minus 3 over 30x. But we can factorize the numerator here because 3 is common. And if we do that, we're going to get 3 brackets 18x minus 1 over 30x. We can now cross out this to get 1 here and cross out that one to get 10. And so we are left with 18x minus 1 over 10x. And that is the end of today's lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.